Yeah, it is another episode of the Autumn Windbags. RJ Clifford, Juan Soto. Let's have some fun today. The Raiders, primetime Monday night football. Technically a home game. A lot of green, a lot of gold, a lot of cheese in those stands. But it was technically a home game, and we will take the W. Raiders defense shows up, shows off. Max Crosby just ripping fools apart. Raiders beat the Packers 17-13 after getting not one, not two, but Trey interceptions, tripling our season total, Soto.
You know, if you would have asked me what are some ways we could win, and you gave me like 5 choices, like getting 3 interceptions, one in the end zone would definitely be probably my last choice.
And one of them was really good. So Robert Spillane, white dude linebacker, getting 2 picks for us. You don't see that very often. One of them was just gift wrapped. I couldn't believe Jordan Love threw that ball right into his lap. The other one was Marcus Peters actually made a really, really good play on the ball, popped it up. Spillane got it. And then Amik he was beat on the play. Luckily, the receiver was like getting towards the back of the end zone, so he had to slow down. If they were like 7 yards further away from the end zone, it would have been a touchdown. And we'd be talking about how we lost this game and how terrible it was. Luckily, he ran out of real estate. Amik caught up, fought the dude who had like 7 inches on him, got the ball. Great.
Whoa. How do you know he had 7 inches on him?
He was unzipped.
Oh,
yeah. That's the big J journalism that I'm into. Yeah. Defense showing up.
I want to be optimistic about the defense, and I think they played a lot better than the optics made it seem. Because, I mean, Dillon didn't have 4 yards of carry. He was like 3.8 or something like that. So he didn't light the world on fire either, and he's a quality back.
20 carries, 76 yards, 1 touchdown, 3.8 average.
Yeah. So it wasn't like he was, going off or anything like that. But last week we played a team that was down. It's, a lot of people. This week, how good are the Packers offensively? I mean, they've made some comeback. They made 1 comeback. I think was one of their wins. Another win was like
Jordan Love did look like ass.
Jordan Love looked
sweaty, hairy ass.
He did not look good. That you're towing the line, RJ. You're towing the line on that.
That's what I do. I know where the edge is. I like to dance on it.
If you keep going, I'm gonna have to hit you.
It's like when you just playing just the tip with your girl. It's like, I know where the edge is.
Right.
That's technically it. Junior the Barb, J.I. the Barb. Thank you so much for the super chat. Defense keeps improving. Offense ... We can fill in the blanks there. But this is we'll stick with the defense for now, just because it was a real good showing by them. Jordan Love, 16 of 30, 182 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. You mentioned AJ Dillon. A fine performance, 20 for 76 and a touchdown. Nothing, it's a standard operating procedure game for a running back, for a featured running back, right? But other than that, man, the pressure was on Jordan Love the whole time. Max Crosby was going ape. Max is so fun because you look at his stats, and it's rare that they're crazy. Only 5 total tackles, 4 solo,
4 for loss.
4 tackles for a loss. Quarterback hit.
Look, guys, listen to me. Tackle for loss is the same as a sack. Same shit. It's the same thing.
Happens. He was absolutely fantastic. Did you see at the end when Rich Bisaccia found him? Did you see this at the end?
Nah.
Rich Bisaccia's like, come with me. Come, give me a hug. Embrace me. I tweeted out, same, Rich. Same. Exactly how I felt.
Everyone wants a Max Crosby on their team.
Yep. And we got one. We got the real McCoy. We got the only one. Also defensively, it was weird because there was still I think this is going to Patrick Graham. There was other than obviously Max Crosby, no Nate Hobbs, the second best player on our defense. He was injured, not playing.
Tyler Hall missed a lot of the game too.
There's a lot missed. Not a lot of I think all this improvement needs to go credit to Patrick Graham. Because I'm not seeing, again, other than Max, there's not like
he's doing a lot, man. He's been much better.
Yeah, it's not like there's been crazy individual efforts where it's like, wow, Trevon moehrig has just really stepped up, or whoever, right? It's not some guys. Those guys are making plays, but it's mostly like I think it's more schematic. It's more scheme from PG than anything.
Yeah, I think moving PG up to the booth, like I said, give him a different perspective on things. Give him he likes to have that information. He's one of those guys, and you give him up there and you get him. He's able to call a better game. He was able to he kind of like okey doke the shell coverage. He shell coverage, and then the very next play he showed the shell coverage, but they clamped down and they got the stop. So he's able to have I think a better feel from up top, which is good for us. Ever since he's moved up there, we had 2 very good performances.
I think it's because he's able to chew his sunflower seeds. You see him up there, nervously, just like.
He had that nice lineup though. He knew it was going to be on camera.
Yeah, I trust a Spitz dude. I trust a guy who loves his sunflower seeds. I can tell you right away, like that's someone. If my car's broken down on the end of a dark highway, I want a guy who spits sunflower seeds coming up on me.
When a guy's spitting sunflower seeds during the game, but he's like stoic, know that his insides are going absolutely nuts.
It's just like it's kind of how like Pete Carroll chews gum. It's just kind of just like vigorous. Josh McDaniels. Let's go over to the Josh McDaniels brain fart-o-meter. He had 2 really bad moments. No timeout to stop the clock on the Packers' last possession of the first half. That cost us 55 seconds. That was so stupid. That was absolutely idiotic, and it cost us points. I don't understand that. Like, there are arguments where it's like, oh, he should have ran there or should have passed there. Oh, he should have done this or should have done that. There's like, okay, I'm 82% sure you made the wrong move, but like I can see where your thought press was, Josh, on why you didn't do that. You're wrong, but at least I can, you're explaining why you were wrong, and I can see where your mind was. No excuse not to be calling a timeout there. That
doesn't make sense.
Dumb as you can be. Absolutely stupid. And then what did you think of attempting the field goal to ice on 4th and 1 instead of going for it at the end of the game?
I don't have a problem with it. You have one of the best kickers in the game.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm all right with it. Either way, I don't have a problem with it. Going for it or kicking the field goal, I'm okay with it. You don't anticipate Carlson, geeking one off the pole. So
he's automatic under 55. Generally, he's generally automatic under 55. I hated it. They have to score a touchdown either way, right? You're up by 4, so either way they have to score a touchdown. So all you're doing is saying like, all right, we're just putting our back pocket that it could be a tie, right? That's all you're doing when you can. I think that's how little faith he had in the O-line, was even on 4th and 1 to ice the game in your opponent's territory. Jordan Love is playing like hot, sweaty garbage. You're like, no. I got to make sure we have it. Yeah. You go for it there. You absolutely go for it there. Speaking of the battle,
in like the realm of bad decisions he made in that game, that was probably like the 5th worst one.
Not even like top 20 of the season.
I mean, in the game, it was probably the 5th less. It was just.
Speaking of Daniel Carlson, in the battle of the Carlson brothers, Anders gets the points. Daniel gets the W. That's the first time Daniel Carlson's missed 2 field goals in a game since he was with the Vikings. Never did it as a Raider. And technically one of them was blocked. So it's still a miss, but it was blocked.
Well, that's kind of leading into what I saw with the offense is I'm going to take a step back. And I'm not saying that some of the decisions aren't questionable and some of the strategy shouldn't be scrutinized, but I don't know that we're really seeing what our offense can do because our offensive line is terrible.
You know how last season they got progressively better, and then this season they're getting exponentially worse. They're going the opposite direction.
I mean, pass blocking wise, they're getting worse. Run blocking wise, they're actually getting a little bit better. But it's like everybody take a turn getting beat clean on a play. You know, every single guy on there. It's Rory and I were kind of going back and forth on this, in a text chain during the game. He's like, "Oh, they're not this bad because the X and Y and Z." And I said, "Well, if you take a look at the fact that we were probably like the fourth least team to see loaded boxes last year, and Josh Jacobs had more yards after contact last year than he had total the year before."
Yep.
It's like, how good were they? They're just seeing more loaded boxes this year. Jimmy G can't beat, like I said before the last game, they're just crowding the middle and they're making him throw the ball deep out the outside the numbers.
Yeah.
And until he can show that he can do that consistently, they're going to continue to do that. And they're not letting him, spread out the ball. And that is Josh McDaniels' issue, not being able to unlock the middle of the field. So it's a couple things going into play. But yeah, as far as the offensive line goes, I think we're just seeing that the offensive line really wasn't that good.
You can tell Josh McDaniels doesn't trust the old line with all those jet sweeps on 4th and 1. It's like I don't trust you guys. Don't trust you guys at all. Super chats coming in. Appreciate you guys very much. This one by Ty Davis. Bottom line, everyone talking about the defense sucks. Well, if it wasn't for the defense tonight, we'd have lost. Look, the defense is still, we'll see what the numbers are and the stats are after this game. But coming into this game, it was still bad. Only 1 turnover, terrible red zone defense. We were like, our best stat was we were 18th in yards allowed, which is still below average, right? Everything else was awful, low in sacks, et cetera. This will bump things up a little bit. But the defense isn't good, but it is overachieving. It's like the least paid defense, and that's with Chandler Jones sucking up a bunch of money in dead cap space. It's basically max. And then whenever Hobbs is healthy, he helps. But the defense is bad, but it is improving and it is overachieving.
This stretch is going to be pretty important for us because we're not only are we playing some teams other than the Lions, of course, but we're playing some teams that don't have very good offenses. It can help us get a little bit of momentum, a little bit of confidence. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. Again, we could play a team with a very important piece of their offense not playing. Jordan Love is just not good. He's just not very good. It's really tough, man. It's really tough. I think we tackled a lot better. AJ Dillon is tough to get down. He's huge. He's 6'2", almost 250, and he's fast. So getting him down is no easy feat, but I think we were able to make a lot of good plays in the open field. Not many wide open people. I mean, Marcus Epps had that brain fart where he bit on the crossing route and
just 77-yard pass play, longest of the Packers season.
Just let Watson just go right by him, and I need more information. I need more info. We have some info. I need more info. We've had some good. I mean, we had a good showing defensively against Denver, but Denver's hot garbage. It's really hard to tell against the Bills because the Bills, they put up points against everybody. So I'm gonna hold off right now. I'm not gonna say yes or no yet.
JR the Bob, thank you once again. Mark Davis seemingly calling someone a-hole during the game. I saw that. Shakes his head. Looks like he's saying effing a-hole. Right? Is that what it looks like to you?
Yeah. What an a-hole.
What a effing a-hole.
Let me see one more time. No, it's what an a-hole.
What an a-hole?
Yeah. I wonder who that was
talking about. Josh McDaniels?
Who knows?
He's probably thinking of the guy that got his
How
Harvey's order wrong
operated
this
on is
morning.
that chick next to him?
So I did some research. I found her. Hayden Hopkins,
Wow.
dancer. He's got his type. He's got a type. Mark Davis only dates
He
dancers.
definitely has a type.
I'm into that. She is smoking hot. Hayden Hopkins. She's been around for like a year. She's been around a while. One of our listeners put in the comment section, yeah, she's been around she's been around like since last year. I got to do some more research, but dude, dancer build, but with tits. You never see that. Look at those things. Look at that chassis. Those moves. Oh, woo.
I like a little more in the lower body. She looks a little bit 12-year-old boyish down there.
You're right. You wouldn't even fuck her.
Where, Jar?
You wouldn't even. Yeah, you're better than that, Soto. Don't even touch her. You wouldn't even like it.
I mean, she's pretty and she's got a little rack on her.
Shut up! Jesus Christ, Soto. She's just okay, whatever. Stop. Please
no,
stop.
I'm telling you, I like him a little thicker on the bottom, dude. I'm just saying.
Stop.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at the butt in those jeans. That's called long back butt.
That's called you would eat a mile of her shit just to see.
No, that's not true.
You absolutely would.
That is not true.
Would.
Okay, well, I guess you know better than what I like.
Stop it. Oh no, not good enough.
Bro, I'm not into that whole 90s chick hot, like the Baywatch chick that's like got no legs and no ass, just freaking bolt-ons and a pretty face. Like, I'm not into that.
Yeah, you definitely want to hook up with her if you give the opportunity.
I need something to grab onto while we slow dance. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Ty Davis. Wow. Okay, Mr. Davis.
Yeah. I mean, for Al Davis, that's a freaking dub because that's his deal. That's what he likes.
He likes his dancers.
He likes his dancers. Good for him.
That's why he wanted to move to Vegas.
I dated a dancer once and she had dumps. So I don't know about
that. What else? Let's get to Jimmy G. He is throwing behind guys way too consistently. That's how Davante Adams hurt his shoulder. He's throwing behind him on an over route. Like these crossing routes, he's always throwing behind. That's what the interception was. He's throwing behind him. And that's the other part of having a weak arm, where the most obvious one is he doesn't have a deep ball, which sucks. Balls float. But the part that's killing us the most is he's throwing behind guys because he just doesn't have a rocket to get there. It's just floating and guys are going faster than the ball. That's how he threw that pick.
The problem is when everyone is crowded around the middle of the field, you really can't lead a guy with anticipation as much as you want to because there's another guy there.
Yeah.
On that throw where they got intercepted, if he would have looked a little bit further, he had Davante Adams. There was a safety over the top, but he had some room in the sideline to the sideline. And if you throw it anywhere close, Davante Adams is going to catch it and get his feet down.
Yeah.
But there is a marked difference between the arm strength of Jimmy G and Farva. Huge difference in arm strength. And the one time that Jimmy G just said, okay, I'm going to do X. As soon as my back leg hits, the ball's coming out, he threw a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
So, yeah, D-Rock 88. He put up what he said. D-Rock 88. What the hell? Yeah, anticipating routes, it's really difficult to do that when everything is crowded. You can't really lead a guy that much because there's going to be another guy there to make the play. So you have very small windows. You have to have a really strong arm to get the ball in between those small windows. So basically what's happening, just to give everyone another frame of reference, he's basically throwing passes in the red zone every single play because that's how he's being played. Everything's so just compacted with 20 yards in. And he's unless you stretch the ball further, these guys are going to stay there. And it's more difficult to complete passes when the defense is like that.
Jimmy G, 22 of 31, 208 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, sacked 3 times. On paper, not a terrible game, but he was not very good. And the offense in general, outside of 2 drives, there was that super long drive in the second quarter, the super long touchdown drive in the third quarter. Other than that, offense wasn't great. it really wasn't a great offensive performance, despite the fact we got 3 turnovers. Still, I think we're still the only team in football to not score 20 points. And we had a +2 turnover margin. 3 takeaways, 1 giveaway.
Yeah, we didn't do anything with turnovers. I think we got like 4 yards or something like that after like our turnovers.
Raiders drives, 6 plays punt, 5 plays punt. That 14 play, 8.5 minute drive, that was the touchdown. And then we got the interception, right? Spillane's first interception, got -1 yards, kicked the field goal. Next drive, 8 plays, 41 yards, missed field goal. First drive of the first half, interception, 3 and out, the 10 play touchdown. So they orchestrated 2 really good long drives, and everything else was punt, missed field goal, end of game, 3 and out. It was basically 2 drives. That was the whole offense.
Yeah. So I find it very difficult, like piecing together the last couple of games worth of coverage, basically what I've been looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I find it really hard to come down super hard on charge as far as play calling. There's a couple of things that I've kicking the field goal instead of going for it, throwing a pass on 1st and goal instead of running the ball with 2.5 minutes left, like things like that. But his play calling isn't that bad. The problem is he's getting terrible production from his offensive line.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to make a decision on the play calling itself when you're having to work around an offensive line that's playing this poorly.
Mm-hmm.
So is it both? It very well could be. It could be bad play calling and bad offensive line play. It could be both. But for sure, it's very bad offensive line play. So let's see. I think Thayer Mumford winning. I think he got beat once. Rashawn Gray got him one time, but other than that, I think he played pretty well. Spelling, I don't know what happened to Illuminor. How did he get hurt? Did you see what happened to him?
I didn't. I have no idea.
Yeah, so let's hope that things start trending up. Normally you see offenses get better because look, in the NFL, like we had talked about this. If one guy makes a play on defense, it could save the play, right? Yeah. It just takes one guy to screw up on offense and the play is ruined. So normally this is when you start seeing teams' offenses starting to click and get better. It just so happens that it's our defense that's clicking and getting better. So hopefully that continues. And we definitely have the players on offense to continue and to maybe uptick towards the end of the season. We don't know yet, but it's going to take our offensive line to play much better than they did tonight for us to get better offensively.
Josh McDaniels was starting to do what we've been talking about, doing more screens, things like that. Like if your O-line's getting beat, that's how you protect them, right? Screens, draws, doesn't do a lot of
misdirection, motion. Look, yeah, exactly.
Where's the play action? There's no play action.
Play action's not going to work. The play action doesn't work when the run doesn't work. That's the issue.
That is statistically not true. They've done all this data on there on success rates of play action plays when the run game's established versus when it isn't. I understand the theory. I was shocked when I saw the stat, but all you're doing is buying yourself 1 second, right? You're just freezing the linebackers and safeties for a second.
You're also asking your offensive line to block for an extra second. Because if they don't buy it, I don't buy that you're running the ball. I'm just going to go right to the quarterback because I know the guy next to me or the linebacker's going to get the guy.
But it's a second that you're going to be waiting for your wide receivers to develop their routes anyway, right? It's not like you're adding a second on the back end. It's just that 1 second where you're just sitting there, you're doing a play action.
Well, you know again, if the line doesn't buy it, I think it really depends on the team and how they're doing to give you a little bit more information on the success rate of a play action pass. But I wouldn't bite on play action against us. We haven't shown to be, and it's not like it's one guy that's getting through every single time. It's just the entire line, like big chunks of the line aren't blocking properly. So Josh Jacobs is like fighting for his life every time he gets the ball.
The few times he did get out, it was like, oh, wow, amazing what he can do when he actually has a little space. It was actually his best game of the season. 20 carries, 69 yards. He got that touchdown. First touchdown of the season. Took till week 5 for the defending rushing champion to get in the end zone. 3.5 yards a carry. Not good, but still by far his best game yet. But still, his real skills are out of the backfield. 5 catches for 20 yards. Caught all his targets. Josh Jacobs is doing blocking. He's doing everything other than getting good yards per carry.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff. He's been like that block on that sweep, on the screen. Excuse me, the wide receiver screen. That was amazing. Or no, what? Yeah, that was that play. I mean, look,
he had the wherewithal to not on that trick play throw the ball back to Jimmy G. Right?
Yeah, take the sack. Yeah.
If it was ironically, if it was Jimmy G, he would have just thrown it, would have been picked. And Josh Jacobs has the better wherewithal than Jimmy G to not throw the pick.
So, well, like what I was saying with Josh McDaniels last week, he seems to be a week behind. Mm-hmm. Okay, he's not using a lot of motion. So he's got to use more motion. That's what we got to do to get to make this offense better. The next week he starts using motion. So okay, he's got to. What did I say this week? He's got to use sweeps. He's got to use misdirection. He's got to use screens. He's got to use that type of stuff on a blitzing team, and he did it. And I was like, we have to try to get the tight end the ball a little bit. This night he tried to do that a little bit more. So it's like he's slowly starting to incorporate these things. The thing he has to incorporate everything he's been doing the entire season. Mm-hmm. He can't just fall in love with doing certain things, which I think is what he does. He gets a game plan that's very heavy on certain things. So if he can piece together these different things, I think maybe we can see an uptick in the offense. But again, it's going to be really difficult to judge anyone on the offense because of how bad the offensive line is playing. They are playing really, really bad. And it's just not one person. Everyone's getting beat.
Yeah. But even when Jimmy G does have time, you're seeing a lot of bad decisions too. So it's like no one's helping him, but he's not helping himself either. Back to the defense. It's weird because the defense, like, look, the only number that matters is 13. That's how many points they allowed the Packers. Like, that's the only thing that matters. Yeah, terrible offense, but still, we'll take less than 2 touchdowns in an NFL game any day of the week, right? But it's still like they still don't look good. Like the Packers run game, 30th in the league, right? We were 32nd. We were last, right? 30th in the league, 74.5 yards per carry. They passed that in 35 minutes. Like they were able to run when they wanted to just run up the middle. They were really successful because we don't have defensive tackles. You can't tell me we have defensive tackles. Just I don't know. The missed tackles, like we mentioned, the blown assignments that we talked about. Other than Max Crosby, there were far more face palms of like, darn, our defense blew it, than wow, the defense looked amazing. It was just like more of the bad than the good, despite the fact we held them to 13 and got 3 interceptions.
Well, I don't know that you want a lot of these guys to try to look amazing. Mm-hmm. Just make the play, make the plays that are there. And I think we're starting to do that. I think Epps had that little brain fart again where he tried to do something a little bit more than what he should have, and we got burnt deep. But other than that, I think everyone was pretty on point with their assignments. We saw, I think, a more pressures, I think. I mean, at least what I would have called more pressures by Tyree Wilson. He was in on pressure when Love threw one of the picks. He got a holding penalty against him when the tight end tried to grab him because they were trying to block. Dude, Tyree Wilson's super strong. You're not going to block him with a tight end. He's just going to run right over the guy. So I wouldn't say necessarily they looked bad. I think that they were just making the plays that were there, and no one was trying to flash. No one was trying to do anything extra except for Max Crosby, which is the guy who you want to, try to do extra.
Ty Davis, once again, thank you, buddy. Love that bling, by the way. That Raider Nation.
That's sick.
It's pretty sweet. Mick D reminds me of Henry Winkler in Waterboy. I'm starting to think his playbook was stolen. Is
Wait, he passes. No, he doesn't pass. He thinks about passing.
Well, if McD's Henry Winkler, then I guess that makes Max Crosby Adam Sandler.
Right?
He plays like Adam Sandler from Waterboy.
He does, kind of.
He really does. Just all effort and just like think. What does Adam Sandler think of? That he thinks of like his mom that pisses him off.
Yeah.
Is that what I wonder?
You playing the foosball behind my back?
They say that. Why do alligators? Oh, why are alligators so ornery? Because they got all those teeth and no toothbrush.
Yeah.
No, it's their enlarged medulla oblongata.
Something wrong with this medulla oblongata.
Well, we talked all last week in the pregame show how important this game was momentum wise because the defense or the schedule gets really soft after this one. New England Patriots, Chicago Bears, who are scoring a lot of points, but still only 1-4.
Bro, they scored a lot of points against the freaking Commanders. I caught myself.
Yeah, well done.
Against the Commanders. Everyone scores a lot of points. The freaking Denver scored 33 points against the Commanders.
And then we've got a really good Lions team in the middle of that, and then the two New York teams, Giants and Jets. Those are four of the worst teams in football, right there.
So
New England, Chicago,
I was flipping through like ESPN had like the worst teams in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I think like 4 of the top 6 were the ones we're going to play coming up.
Other than the Panthers, who are
like the Giants. Yeah, we're not playing the Panthers.
Not playing the Panthers.
Giants, Panthers,
Broncos, Bears,
Pats, Broncos. Yeah, we play like every single one of them in the top, the back half of the 10.
And some atrocious offenses. So like when we're looking at like, oh wow, our offense is really, our defense is really showing up. It's like they're gonna look like there's a chance that they look like all-stars in this 5-game stretch coming up.
That's what I'm saying, man. Sometimes you like a slump buster, like you still look like the same guy. Mm-hmm. You're still the same person, but you get a little bit more confidence when you get that, release on. You're able to walk into the bar and be like, hey, what's up? Whose turn is it tonight?
Yeah. If this offense can get flowing, we can do some damage in the middle of the season. It's just, I don't know what the offense is getting worse. That's the problem. The offense isn't. It's not like, oh, they're gelling or Jimmy G's, learning because he was hurt and didn't have a training camp. It's like they're not getting better.
They're not pass blocking the way they were the first few weeks of the season. They're just getting worse pass blocking and run blocking, and it's really hard. Look, Jimmy G has made a lot of mistakes. I'm not saying he hasn't, but it's really hard to be able to judge how the offense could look. If Jimmy G did get time and he was still getting picked off with time, well, that's because he has nowhere to throw the ball. Yeah. Because everyone is crowding around where he's supposed to throw because we don't have a run game. It's kind of like one feeds into the other. And we need to figure something out because these guys just aren't getting it done. And it was everybody. James freaking whiffed on a block. Like he didn't even touch the linebacker. He didn't even touch him. Yeah, that was Quay Walker before he got hurt. Illuminor got beat a couple times. Van Roten was getting just abused in the run game. Parham looked bad. Miller got beat a couple times. It's like, come on, guys. Like it's everybody. It's not just one person.
And there's also more and more film as the season goes on. And when you're Josh McDaniels and you're just not creative, it's getting easier and easier to game plan because you're like, oh, this is what they do. This is what they don't do. Double team Devontae Adams. Oh, he underthrows every single one. This O-line isn't run blocking at all. Like the tape is getting out there. This was the most creative play calling out of Josh McDaniels all season. And still it was only a 13-point game, even though we got the 3 takeaways.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's I don't want to keep like stepping over the same ground over and over again, but it's really hard. And again, he has some measure of blame. Josh McDaniels does.
Yeah. Because
this is his team and he's coaching them. But damn, is that freaking offensive line really bad? They're really bad. So just like last week with Farva, when we were able to give him time to throw, he was able to move the ball. And it's just we're not even getting We're not even getting stalemates. We're getting blown off the ball every single time on offense and defensively too. Let me take that back. Jenkins has been Jenkins over Tillery for sure. Billings showed up. Butler showed up. So we're seeing some life.
The defensive performance was good. Divine Diablo, 10 tackles, 6 solo, a tackle for loss. Spillane had a game, 9 tackles, 2 solo, the 2 interceptions as well. There's some like meat and potato performance. Again, this is all outside of Max Crosby, right? But there's like meat and potatoes performances individually where they're not like flashing crazy. It's just, again, I really believe like I've started to come around Patrick Graham. Like last season, we were so bad. Like we were like bottom 5 in almost every single category. I'm like, Graham doesn't get it. Like we have no identity.
No, Graham's
starting to come around. This season is starting to come around a little bit.
He's a good coach, dude. I tried not to come down too hard on him last season. And I actually read a lot of stuff where people were very impressed by him in the Senior Bowl. So I'm like, all right, well, let's see how this works out. And I mean, look, if not for Epps blowing that play against the Steelers, I think we win that game. So there's that. There's Epps trying to blow the game against the Packers tonight. But we want meat and potatoes. Like there's a certain thing as too many truffles. You know, you can have too many truffles on your plate. That's a lot. You have Max making the flashy plays. You have other guys maybe popping here and there. But if you just sit there and make the plays that are there, that's what happened. That first Spillane interception, that's all design.
Yeah.
That's knowing what's coming. That's okay. If you see this and this, make sure, because if you notice, Spillane went the wrong way at the snap, and then he corrected, and the ball was thrown right at him. So that's coaching. That's Patrick Graham. That's his scheme. That's his system. That's his intelligence. That's his awareness.
He was just sitting in the hook and curl, and Jordan Love just gift wrapped one. Like it was.
But that's the defense that was called, and he was positioned there.
Yeah. So
it wasn't like, he was supposed to do something else, and he noticed something and just ran to the spot. So, putting your guys in position to make plays, that's what a defensive coordinator is supposed to do. And he did that.
Anything else? Anything stick out to you?
I'm really very just concerned about the offensive line. Yeah. I just don't think that, despite you want to,
and our tight ends can't block, so it's not like you can help with the tight end.
Golly, Mayer showed a lot more athleticism than I think even we gave him credit for.
Yeah.
So getting him the ball in future games, I think, should be a priority.
The first catch was all play design. No one was near him for the first 10 yards. Like that was all play design, and he ran it. The second catch was pretty nice.
And I watched him play against SC a couple times, 3 times. And that's just who he is. He's that guy. If he would have beaten the linebacker on that throw that Jimmy G just, I don't know what the hell he was thinking, to Mayer. Mayer would have beat the linebacker, and he would have gone for at least 20 more yards if he had if Jimmy G had hit him in stride. It's just I'm starting to I want to have some kind of optimism moving forward that our offense can get better, and I want to start like a sculptor. I don't want to like just take stuff away to reveal what's underneath. I want to see what's underneath and just wipe everything else away, right? So it's hard when the offensive line isn't giving the plays a chance. So that's something that I think it's very difficult, and it's almost impossible to game plan around a bad offensive line. So we got to figure something out.
Well, that's what Josh Daniels has to do, because it's his offensive line. He chose to barely change it, right? And we've seen we've seen offenses work around bad old lines. The Bengals went to the Super Bowl with a bad old line, right? Like it's possible.
We don't have Joe Burrow, dude.
We don't have Joe Burrow. but we've got the skill players. We have better skill players than every team in the NFL minus like 4.
Thanks
right?
for bringing that up, because I was going to bring that point. We saw Jimmy G be successful with, I think, a very comparable set, of weapons than what they have, than what we have. The offensive line was the big difference. So I think if we protect them a little bit more, we're going to be able to see a little bit, especially with the more creative play calling, I think, that we've been seeing. Hopefully that does help, but we need to get better play from the offensive line.
I would say the bigger difference was Shanahan, but I get your point.
I mean, dude, the offensive line, they have one of the best offensive lines in the league every single season. So it's a lot easier to call plays when your offensive line is that good.
All right. Well, I'll leave you with this disgusting chick that's not hot enough for you, Soto. Mark Davis's new girl. That
I love how he puts words in my mouth. I never said that.
You hate her.
She's a very attractive young lady.
She's a handsome woman.
She's operated to hell, but just
not good enough for you.
Well, I'm not saying it's not good enough for me. I wouldn't. Yeah, of course that's what you heard, but I'm saying it's just I'm attracted to women that have a little bit more, a little bit more in the below the equator. You know what I'm saying?
Not good enough for you. I get it. So it's a short week for us. So we'll be recording in 2 days. We'll keep an eye out on everything. We'll crank out some extra stuff as well. A lot of good traction lately. Obviously, it's with the season it helps, but we've also committed to making sure we get a video out, 5-6 a week, and we've been doing that pretty well. We've been making sure we always do a pregame show live, obviously all the postgame shows live, and you guys have rewarded us with a lot of views, a lot of super chats, and a lot of love. We appreciate that very much.
Wowza.
You're right. Not good enough for you, Soto. Totally understand. Totally get it. You're a man of principle. Until then, knock on wood if you're with me.